My husband told me he cheated on me with a man and contracted an STD the week before Christmas, but blames it on trauma and mental health. Divorce? Hi Reddit, first time posting, so please forgive any mistakes. My husband, 34M, and I, 33F, have been married for about 6.5 years, together for almost 8 years total. We have 2 children, a 3 years old and a 5 years old. I have been mostly a stay-at-home mom since our first was born, until the last 2 years when we needed more income for medical bills and groceries. I started cleaning homes on some nights and weekends for cash on the side. He started struggling with anxiety and depression a few years ago and had a bit of a mental breakdown a few months ago, wanted to live himself. We got him some help and made a few changes, but he only stuck with it for a few weeks, despite my trying to encourage him and questioning him about therapy appointments and medications, etc. I guess things got bad again. I did notice but felt like he shut me out, and I honestly didn't even know how to talk to him anymore. He avoids confrontation like it's the plague. I have personally dealt with anxiety and depression since I was a preteen, so I noticed the signs, and I've tried to give him my best advice, but he doesn't listen to me. I'm not sure what else to add in the backstory here, so I'll move on to what happened about 4 days ago. I had noticed him acting strangely, quiet, withdrawn, sleepy, staring into space, etc. for around 2 weeks, but when I asked what was going on, he claimed he had a stomach bug and felt very sick. He even took a sick day which he spent in bed. In my therapy session that week, my therapist and I talked about how I felt like my husband and I were no longer communicating in a healthy way for our relationship, and she helped me come up with the idea of scheduling time for him and I to talk alone weekly. The way our schedules are, and with how young our kids are, we just can't seem to find the time to have meaningful conversations for probably a year. So last Friday morning I texted him the idea of scheduling time to talk, and he basically just dumps this bomb on me. I'll quote his text here. "I've always been bi-curious. And unfortunately I made the big mistake of messing around with someone last week. They texted me and told me they have gonorrhea. I haven't touched you physically since I feel extremely ashamed of myself and very sick. I wish I would have talked to you about it instead of acting on impulse. I'm ducking disguised with myself to the point I want to kill myself. I laid in bed last night and almost got up to do it. I cried myself back to sleep knowing I can't let these kids go without a dad. I need fucking help. I don't blame you for leaving me. I ruined Christmas and life. And I'm sorry. I'm now worried that someone in the house is going to get it due to the eye infection part. I was given a shot already, but I'm sorry, I really am. And I do not blame you for leaving me and taking the kids." So obviously this came as a shock to me, but I immediately told him that he needs to be here for the kids no matter what happens between us, and he needs to go seek help. He went and had an emergency therapy appointment. Later that day he told me about how he had uncovered some things from his childhood that he believes is the cause of him acting this way, as well as other trauma that has made him the way he is now. Things like impulsive reactions, and avoiding conflict, etc. I am not upset that he may be bi, but obviously I'm hurt that he cheated and cannot communicate with me in a healthy way. This post is getting very long, but I wanted to give as much information as possible to avoid having to come back and answer a bunch of questions about context and backstory. I guess my question is, does anyone have experience with staying in a relationship after this type of infidelity? If so, do you feel like you were ever able to truly forgive your partner and move on? Or is this something that we will never be able to get past? He wants to fight for our marriage as he works through his trauma and start our relationship over, dating, etc. My immediate reaction is to leave him because I'm just not sure that I can ever get over this betrayal. However, there's obviously a lot more to it than just leaving. We own a house, I don't have a real job, and our 3-year-old still stays at home with me during weekdays. I could also go on and on about how we are no longer in love, how I felt like he just doesn't care about me and my needs in a long time, and how obviously we have both changed since having kids, and it honestly just didn't seem like either of us were very happy in our marriage the last year or so. But I feel like I'm writing a book now. We were very in love at one point and each other's best friend. So Reddit. Do you think we can get that love back? Start fresh and somehow move on from this? Or do we part ways so that he can find himself again / figure out who he truly is and what he wants? Thank you for reading this ridiculously long post.